trainee, so you better listen to me. It doesn't happen. So the only thing that happens is you have a great introduction that happens in the place. You ensure that more than the manager, you come back and say that my name is this, I'm joining your team. You don't say what you join us. I'm joining your team to achieve certain goals for the hotel. So you share that you have a common goal and you are available to help everyone and you are available to learn from everyone. Say that I may be joined as a management trainee, but that does not take away the responsibilities or the seniority that you may have achieved by now. So there are times when I'll come to you for seeking help. There are times I may be able to help you out. So, so how you connect, the conversation that you do with your team, that gives you, how do they accept you? So it is very important for you to be accepted. As a leader, as an individual, you need to be first accepted by people. Once you're accepted by people, they will start following you. In every individual, every human has a nature of, if they find someone genuinely good, you don't have to give instructions. They know what you want. You only have to display. Now, when you care for somebody, you can demand. When you start caring for every level, be it an associate, be it a manager, be it a commie, be it a housekeeping boy who's working in your outlets or wherever it is, if you care for them, that one word, remember, that breaks the ice. Nobody talks to a human. So the moment you have a large portion of people from the hotel that you are joining has got a different impression about you, different identity for you, they will reconnect with you. They will always connect you to as a human first. Then they will come back as a colleague. Then they know that yes, XYZ is a person that we enjoy. We enjoy talking to. That's why you are being accepted as a leader. So, so leadership is not about, it's, as I said, leadership is not about what is your position. Leadership is all about what you do and how you do. You can be an associate, but your approach can make you a leader. Remember, at a very, very large organizations, you are an associate. Now coming back to a point that when you have joined an associates. Now, and I'm linking that even an associates can be a great leader. So when you join an associate, you have 50 more people in your team. There is a day when you have a crisis. Now there are, out of 50 people, 35 people may tell you that I don't think I can come. This has been the regular. They're all calling me up every day, and I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm saying it in a very nice way. It doesn't happen in the industry that way. The anger comes in a very different way. And you are also part of that team. You know what you have to do? Literally stand up and say that, is that okay that, we can also think about how do we help out in a situation. So you are leading a change from that same level. So you have a team of associates who are 35 in a team of 50. And out of this 35, one like you are standing and say that, guys, I just have a small request. Let's help them out. Let's not make anything else like that. Let's make a plan for our department. Let's make a plan for our outlet. Let's make a plan for our shift. How do we do that? Let's do that. Now, see, you're not losing anything. Remember, being good is always an advantage. Being professional is always an advantage because you are not only winning, you are not losing anything. By displaying such conversation, you're winning their heart. So out of these 35 people, 5 people will always find that looks like he's saying right, looks like it makes sense. And when you display that, no, you are actually catching eyes of the even the people around you. They are finding you the trustworthy. They're finding you that this man will always be standing for the good cause. This man will not object to things that is coming in front of them as a challenge. So even as an associates, when everybody has a different opinion, you can stand there and go with them and explain to them that why it may have a different impact if we cooperate with everybody. So all about the leadership is now here. You are not a manager, you are not a designated leader, but you are an associate. You are displaying leadership. This is what I'm sure many of you who has done your training, during your training, you have seen that you have been always looking forward to meet one good person. Am I right? If you all can say that, you've been always looking forward to meet one good soul that I want to talk to. You want to meet, you want to sit with them, you want to talk to them, you want to discuss about what you've always been looking forward to. Same thing is expected out of you. There are many people, when you come there, they're trying to find a good person in you. So you have to be that one person who has got, different ideas of leaderships, and the approach is completely different. So that's where I'm mixing up the human sides of leadership. Leaders will be always looking forward to have a situation when there is a crisis. So you cannot expect everyone to have an operation which is peacefully done. It doesn't happen. It's almost nil that there are days when it goes you have no crisis. So there are days in a week, there are days in a month, there are weeks in a month which are all critical days, right? It's all about how do you respond. It's all about how do you respond to that situation. We leaders, as a leader, you cannot be a reactive leader. You have to be always a responding leader. There is a situation that happens when a crisis, and you have two choices. You react to it and you respond to it. Now, when you react to it, it brings your it brings the personal side of you, that I react, I'm angry, I can't do that. That's you. So you become a very, very narrow, that's only you. But when you start responding to it, which means you take a breath and understand, okay, if I have a tough week, what are the areas that I may have a trouble? Let's make a list of it. I have 100 rooms arrival every day for the next 7 days. So what are the difficulties I have? I need to plan for my concierge team. I need to plan for my porter. I need to plan for my travel list. I need to plan for my my first shift, because the arrival is happening this point of time, and the night or the time I need to have. So you chalk down the difficulties that you may have, and then within your team, identify the people who's got strength. Like I have a lot of my students, you will be, I'm so happy to let you know that I have a huge liking for IIHM. The reason is not just because of it's my college. I have seen these guys in my last appraisal. There's something that I must share. I have a lot of students, and when I was doing their appraisal for the managerial, so they completed the management training course, and now they are getting into the designation. They'll be promoted as so that's point of time. There is a presentation that happens. There is a question answer session that happens. So we always ask them about, if you're handling a team, if you work with a team of 20 people, let me know the positive and challenges of each individual. So one of the biggest thing they had tasked is to map their colleague. Now, when you are given a task to map their colleague, you know what they have said, I'm saying it with all pride, that's the kind of leader we wanted to develop. And that is the kind of training we had. We had people who sat there, we had the girls who sat there and explained to us that, sir, let me tell you, this boy or this gentleman has been one of the best colleagues to work with. Everyone, just look at the way they presented themselves. Everyone was a wonderful colleague to work with. The advantage with ABC was that they are strong in grasping. So I can give tasks related to this to them. And these two gentlemen, they are a little slow, but they do it perfectly. So they may take time. Like I have an A, I have a B. The A guy is very strong and pick up things faster. He completes things faster. But I have a B who's more slightly slow, but then you will almost find nil mistakes in their work. So that's the kind of mapping they have done. So this is very, very important as a leader, to understand your team, to know the strength and weakness of your team, that who can be used, who can be given the assignment for different role during a busy month or a critical month, or whatever you can say. So as a leader, it is very, very important for you to understand the strength, weakness of a team, and strength and weakness of a member. Nothing is a problem that, okay, he's weak in that area, does not make him a bad employee. He also is a good employee, provided you do not make him do work number B, but you only make him work, give you the assignment, which is work number A. So that's how it is. Like, as a trainer, when we do sessions, we tell that you have a bunch of animals. Let's say you have an elephant, you have a tiger, you have a monkey, you have a snake, you have a deer. So, and you are asking all of them to go and get the mangoes from the tree. How is that possible? Only the monkey will be able to climb up to the tree faster and bring that mango down. So it's all about the way you give your instructions. If you have a team like this, you pick up a job which suits the right person. You don't tell the elephant to go up and pick up the mango. So, it's a very simple. So that is where a leadership comes in place, that as a leader, you must know that which assignment to be given to whom. And for what work I have to approach to whom. So these are all very, very important as a leader. So I talked about human side of a leader. I talked about how do you connect, how do you show leadership even from the bottom line, how do you identify the strength of an individual and then give them assignments accordingly. That makes a great leader. That makes a great leader. So you have a human side, you know the strength of and the advantage of individuals, and you know your team in and out. And three is that you know exactly detailing about as an associate also that how do you show leadership. So volunteer yourself in the challenging days. One of the critical things that's going to come is that who has got the ability to adapt to the new changes faster than everybody else, they are going to score more. If you restrict yourself to a certain area, remember that you will run out of favor. You will run out of selection, you will run out of choice. So if there is a choice that I have to pick up three best, you may not be part of it. But within the three best, if you have to be, then you are willing to do everything. You are willing to almost replace everyone with their kind of assignment. So the job going forward, it's going to be very, very competitive in terms of industry. The country is going to go on a very, very fast pace. We're going to see a lot of change happening. Leave this 1 year. Leave this 1 year. I will say that leave this 1 year is going to be another year of learning. So don't count this year. What's going to happen for the next year is the speed that's going to come into the picture. So it's all about how you adapt to these changes. Today, if you are given an assignment, remember that today when you're doing a briefing, you said that let's pick up a job like, okay, Aditya, tomorrow you're going to do this job. Now, tomorrow morning when it comes, it's quite possible that there is a change which has happened in the meanwhile. And the same manager is coming and telling you, Aditya, I'm doing a change. I'm asking you to do, can you do this instead of this? That point of time, if you restrict yourself that I'm so sorry that you told me that I have prepared everything accordingly, you can't be doing that to me. You are not the pick immediately. You are not going to be the most favored one that point of time. You're going to be literally losing that opportunity. So you got to say, sure, you know, the attitude of adapting to a change of responsibility is something that leaders adapt fast. That today, every company is, I'm giving an example, you know, like look at Mahindra's, you know, they were making car, they were not making anything else. Today, Mahindra is making PPE. So they are making medical equipments, they're making ventilators. So, you know, look at the shift that has happened. Now, how much time you take to do this shift? If are you the person, are you an individual who can change to a shift fast, or you take a lot of time to understand and then you object and you rest it, you know, you sort of try to defend your role? Probably you will not be the favorite one anymore. Probably you will not be in the game. So remember this, that in the current days, in the future, it's going to be that how quickly you shift your expertise, how quickly you shift your daily work. You know, if there is a demand which has come, something that you need to deliver something different, say that yes, I'm there for you. That's where you create a demand. Every company is today dying to have an employee who has got amazing attitude towards grasping this thing. Amazing. You can be slow. Slow is not the problem, but the attitude and delivery quality, that matters. This is how you build your leadership. So to be industry ready, if I can run through that, you know, the points that I've shared makes a lot of difference. Now, my last point is, as a leader, you are always creating a brand. Forget about the leader. As a professional, you're always creating a brand for yourself. People will identify you by the kind of person you are. The first thing that comes, that how is he and how is she? The second one comes, how good is she or how good is he at work? So two sides. In both areas, you create a brand for yourself. Your behavior is your brand. What language you speak is your brand. How do you respond to everything is your brand. How do you move with everybody else in the hotel is your brand. How do you conduct yourself at the accommodation which is provided by the hotel is your brand. How do you, so how do you carry yourself with the business partners? How do you carry yourself with the guests? Also is your brand. So the language that you pick, the friends that you choose, the kind of attitude that you show is actually creating a brand. Nobody has got any interest towards who is your parent. Nobody. The only thing that they know that what you are delivering, how you are displaying yourself, that matters. So please create a brand for yourself. You all will be hugely using social media. That's a huge branding spot that you have currently. Please do not make a social media as the place where you say everything from heart. No, there are young students that I see can be abusive on and using words that you generally do not find it very comfortable openly using at social media. Avoid doing that. The day one you are getting into industry, from the day one you have started creating your brand. Today a lot of reference check happens in social media. Tomorrow you're working today in this company, tomorrow you go to another company, the first thing they do, they check your Twitter, they check your Insta, they check your Facebook, they check your LinkedIn, what you share, that talks about you. This is how you create brand. So every word that you talk about, every word that you share, every matter that you share, it's a political thing, so whatever that you share is talking about your mentality, is leaving an imprint there, which is going to be a reference for somebody else. So leave behind things that becomes a good story. Leave behind things that talks good about you. You may not like it, but remember, you are a diplomat. Diplomat has got only one thing to, you are a statesman, you only have one thing to say, is what you display, that you represent somebody and you carry your responsibility at that light. So you are truly a statesman. Everything that you do, people have to follow. Everything that you talk, people are listening. So all that you do becomes a diplomat's job. So as a leader, you are also a diplomat. As a leader, you are also a statesman. So the habits that you make is going to take you forward as a leader. So this is where I will probably end my leadership quick brief. I hope it helps you. I look forward to have your questions and I can respond to you. Before that, I'll just put my earplug.
I would request the moderator to let me know how do I take the questions. Am I audible?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now,
Yes.
Rupam?
Yes, I
Yes.
can. Sanchari, I'm willing to take now questions and respond to all of them.
Yes, that's right. In fact, there has been quite a few, very nice questions, which has in fact come mostly related to the current circumstances right now. So
Sure.
I'm just going to be selecting few of them and reading out to you. And thank
Sure.
you so much for such a lovely session. I am sure all our students have really understood the meaning of leadership, and definitely everything that you've pinpointed and spoken about is very, very motivating. So thank you so much for that, Rupam.
Thank you, Sanchari.
So my first question, yes, this is going to be from, 1 minute. Yes. All right. So the first question reads like, what would you like to say about the recruitment and employment criteria, job responsibilities, opportunities after the pandemic, like the effects to the industry? So I think Polly is one who actually asked this question, and she would in fact like to hear a lot from you on this, Rupam.
Sure. It's a good question. I expected this to come. Let me be frank with you. Yes, this year is a challenging year. Don't be in a rush to, I will say that if it is required to, first thing is understand what is the industry's changes that's going through. What are the changes they are adapted to? You have to be aware of it. That gives an impression in the company that you're going to join that, okay, I'm recruiting somebody who is aware of what is to be done. So this is very important for you to be aware of what are the changes the industry is going through. So you have to be updated about it. Everything in detail, which area, how is it going to be, you got to be updated about it. What is expected is, as I said in the same line, we don't expect, the industry is not expected to be, industry will come back. Now, this is such a huge crisis, the comeback will be slightly delayed because in the next 1 year, we are all counting, I'm giving you the industry's feedback, we are all counting the entire 2020 to be such. So you may see some changes because there could be some relapse of cases in the coming months, and that probably that point of time the lockdown. So it's in all good. If you can, if there is an opportunity that you can delay your even your joining or employment, also nothing to be worried. use this time to do a lot of research, use this time to understand what's happening around. Okay, you present yourself to the employment. If you will be very, very fortunate the moment you have an employment this year. Okay, and it's not your fault. Let me tell you, you've been bright students, you have got nothing wrong going with you. It is not your bad luck, it's with everybody, you know, and we have to accept that. The acceptance is very, very important. We have to accept that. So please don't put yourself in that why it's my bad luck that I did not get a job, or I'm not able to start my career. So that's not something you can always inform. I will say personally, if I'm in your place, I will say the company that look, for me, I don't think I'm going to look at how I was about 6 months back. If I'm taking a responsibility, I don't mind doing a volunteering. You know, I'm going a little bit of aggressive mode that company is not recruiting me, fine. But company will be opening, company will be definitely operating their thing. You can always say that, is it okay that I can come and work for you? You may not have to even pay me. I'm okay with that. I will, it's like a second innings of industrial training. Please take it. I'm saying it a very personal line, not trying to be diplomatic here. I'm trying to be very, very upfront with you that you do not, if you have an opportunity to tell them that, can I work with you? So you know what, you're not losing anything. It's a second chance of doing an industrial training, a slightly different manner. You're on, because you're going to operate within this process. See, like how every hotel is operating during this COVID time, you can also volunteer that maybe my initial 6 months, you don't have to really pay me. I'm not joining you for 6 months. I'm joining you for the year. So I don't mind working for you for the initial 6 months without even having a pay. But I want to get into your system. I want to know how you're operating. I'm going to give my best. So you are creating an opportunity for yourself. You are making yourself, the company is thinking, look at this guy's way of thinking. He's coming back or she's coming back and saying that, you know, I'm going to give my 6 months on learning. I know that the hotels are not going to do business. Obviously, I don't expect you to recruit me on those lines, whatever terms and condition you had. Probably let's change the terms and condition. Can I volunteer myself to be associated with you for the initial 6 months? After that, you'll take a look at me. So you create a sort of opportunity for yourself. That's the first case. And second case is, if at all you're not very comfortable doing that, do online courses. Engage yourself in the college. I will also say that don't lose contacts with the college. Come back and start working with them different events. Education is not going to be completed. Education is not over. Hotels are going to grow up so much that you can come back and say that, ma'am, can I do this project with this team? We're always looking forward to, I don't mind us 10 members from the college final year who's not, they come back and say that we are going to take the responsibility of maintaining the COVID operations of the institution. Let's say if I have a center in Bangalore or Pune or Calcutta, it's that we 15 of us decided that we are going to help you out administrating the college for the next 1 year. We're going to ensure that the housekeeping is done well. We're organizing all the events well. We're organizing the kitchen hygiene. We're organizing the housekeeping hygienes. We're ensuring that there's a training that is happening in the front office. So you volunteer yourself at the college. In any case, whatever I said, you are not losing anything. You're only gaining. The difference is maybe that initial 6 months that you struggle, but it's only for your experience. So I don't find it's going to be a big challenge. Take it up. What comes in your hand, take it up. If you are involving yourself with the changes, if you're directly involved, if you're part of a team, it's only going to be your advantage tomorrow.
And especially Rupam, you know, being the batch that you're in fact talking to today, they happen to be all in the first stance of their third year. So by the time they graduate, that will be, of course, the next year again. So they have
Superb.
Quite a long time to, in fact, you know,
Absolutely.
go ahead and definitely have their time. Yes.
You are fortunate. So I will tell you, are slightly lucky here. This year, the study that's going to, I'm sure Dr. Bose and the entire IIHM think tank is going to have a different course material this year. So educate yourself to those changes, right? Because all that you face next year is going to be based on what's happening around this year. You're going to be talked about how, look at the industry's updates. Airbnb, I'm sure all of you know that long stay business is going to be, Airbnb will make a faster comeback than the commercial hotels. Resort hotel may do a faster business recovery than commercial hotels. Hotel with a larger space will make it entry for events better than everybody else. So large space, resort hotel which is slightly away from the city, then your very, very boutique properties which are away in a different heritage properties will do well, because a lot of people are stressed. A lot of people will take holidays post lockdown gets over, and they will take holidays in those places. May not be overseas, but they'll take holidays in heritage properties somewhere in Rajasthan, Jaipur, or Tamil Nadu, or wherever it is, you talk about. So they're going to do that. So you have to make yourself ready this year. You have a lot of work this year to do. Literally a standard operating process of a post-COVID era has to be your forte. You should be able to operate on those standards. So educate yourself on those lines. Next year is going to have a lot of opportunities. Trust me.
Thank you so much, Rupam. I think I'll be going to the next part of the question.
Sure.
If you're able to hear me clearly. Yes. Okay, this is a very interesting question again. This says, sir, as you told about every department's hygiene and the new SOPs. So what about the kitchen department's new SOP or any new hygiene techniques? Because, sir, I want to take food production as major. So I have to have this curiosity of the kitchen department. I like to know how and what are the new changes in the operations. So this has been asked by our student called as Shumon Datta.
Sure. Suman, it's a very interesting question. I'm glad that you asked me this question. Kitchen is going through a lot of changes. Kitchen is adapting to, again, distance work, which is like earlier, the kind of distance that you used to manage between two employees is going to be a little different today. The pre-prep op area, I'm sure you must have seen as the item has been received in a hotel, and that goes to a pre-area, like pre-preparation area. So where your vegetables are going, your meat is going, your poultry is going. These areas will come under a huge scrutiny. These areas will come under a heavy audit system, which means you're receiving, you as a chef in my organizations and every other places today, the executive chef personally has to be selecting everything that has been received, because that's where it's starting. And the kind of direction that you give to even your vendors, vendors has to have their mask, their dispensing, the product that they are giving. Salads, anything related to salads are currently off from the menu. You're not going to give them anything which is raw. Every food that's going to come now, for now, it's going to be cooked only. So the salads are going off the menu, and you do not expect. Typically it's a work culture that we adapt is westernized. Like you literally have to do everything. If you're standing in a kitchen, particularly, cleaning and hygiene of the kitchen is up to you. We can't take a chance with the kitchen stewarding. You can't be depending on the stewarding boy to come and do the cleaning of that area, because you're allowing a third person to come and touch areas that, if you're working on a wok, if you're working on a pan, that needs to be cleaned by you. The reason is it should not be handed over. If you are there on the range, if you're on the main area, kitchen area, every equipment that you're handling, it has to be handled by you. There is no second person will be coming into the picture. So you have to get used to these changes that I have to do literally A to Z everything. Making my pot ready, making my pan ready, making my misa ready, making my gravy ready, stocking them, covering them, stocking them. The entire process will be done by you, because multiple handling will be reducing now in kitchen. So it is for the hygiene purpose. So one person, you are physically checked, you are done. If you are on shift, everything has to be done by you in that particular kitchen. Maybe a 2 or 3, whoever you are, you have to distribute your work and then take this work accordingly. But remember, the hygiene of that area, that section is purely on you. There is no third person that comes. If you're 2 people are there or 3 people are there, divide the work among yourself. There is no stewarding help. There is no fourth person coming to the picture. So less contacts in your area. You go pick up items from butchery. You see that detailing, you come back. There is no third person who is doing this work for you, because less number of people should be in contacts with the kitchen area.
That's great, Rupam. Thank you so much. Rupam, I have again a very nice question. This I'm sure, we'll be able to get a great insight from you. This is from Yashwant Vishwanathan. He's basically talking about interviews. When he sits for the interviews, etc., there is always a way wherein we are getting rejected. Now, post so many rejections, what is the way of not getting repressed and, of course, overcoming it?
I'll tell you what. Getting rejected in an interview is not your fault. but probably somewhere you need to work on. Every organization has a way of recruiting. Okay, they look at some places have got a recruitment process which is carried in 4 rounds. Some places got a recruitment process which is carried for 2 rounds. So let us understand from you, if at all there is a hint that comes from your earlier batchmate or senior who working in that organizations can help you out. That's the reason it's very important to have a contacts, a rapport with your seniors, rapport with people who have been working in those organizations. Ask them that the kind of philosophy they maintain, what kind of people they like generally, what kind of people have been appreciated in that company. Now, if you are rejected, accordingly, if you ask me, if you're rejected in 2 interviews, the first one is fine, you can always look at. Second one also is fine. On the third one you are rejected, on the after the second one gets over, there is a time when it happens, would you all like to ask us any questions? That's the kind of question comes to you, that where you have a chance to. I would say that use this opportunity so that whoever has come, maybe the HR person, maybe the senior learning and development manager, or the general manager who comes here, is it possible to spare about 2 minutes with you, or maybe as a batch of people who was not able to crack the interview, that we would like to work on our weakness, is something that we feel that we may have to improve upon, would you guide us? So see, you are not losing anything. The gentleman or the second gentleman who's sort of rejected your candidature, not you. Remember, I always said that they have not rejected you, they have rejected probably the profile is not matching with them. So you go and ask them that take a little bit of time and be very, very humble. Sir, is it fine? If you can share with me that if I have to improve on some areas, what would have been that one point I would have made a better choice for you? So if you ask them these questions openly, maybe the GM at times did not always have the frankness to respond to, but the learning manager, the HR manager will give you a hint that, I think you're just lacking in this area. Can you try to quickly work on this area? And what could be that tips? So it's the rapport that you create even during that interview, that you have to find out from them that what are the few things that you feel that you need to work on. And there are a lot of your faculties are doing, I know how IHM operates. So your own faculties are actually doing a lot of session with you. You also be frank. Don't put yourself into a personality that people don't try to touch you. You are a notorious boy. You create problems. You have a negative face. You put your face. If somebody tells you that, look, you're not good in this area, don't give a face that as if that they have told something very, very, it's something against you. It's not against you. Somebody wants to build you. So within your college, there are a lot of mentors. Within your college, there are a lot of people who can counsel you well. Trust them. Put a trust for themselves. Before you could even appear for final interview, have those personal questions for them. Please don't hesitate. Ask them that, ma'am, do you personally think that I'm ready for this interview? Do you personally think that what do you think that I need to look up? I need to work on? You need to be a little frank. You need to be, these questions you have to ask to yourself, that if I have to grow up, I need to seek opinion. I need to seek feedback. So start taking feedback. Don't wait for the interviewers to come and tell you that you are not not selected or you are rejected. Go and ask your faculties that, ma'am, if there is something that I need to improve, I know that I'm not perfect, but can you tell me 2 things that I need to develop and work on those areas? So it's always better to train yourself for those final game. See, India is a huge populated country, but only 11 people play the cricket. Okay, if Virat Kohli has to be really surviving this longer format, he realized that he needs to train himself physically, because the game was not about playing. If your body is not permitting you, you'll not be able to play that. So he works extra than everybody else. So you need to do this effort, take those efforts.
Great. Rupam, I have got Rajat, who is in fact asking 2 questions. So one being, of course, he would like to know the difference between, being a manager and being a leader. And he also has a very interesting question, that is, please brief us about the Feathers MT program and how it creates an opportunity, which is different from any other program.
Well, I thought I will not do a feather talk, but I will come back to you. Manager and leader, right? As I said that, don't be a manager. Managers has got a shelf life. Look at a life which is carried beyond managerial. See, today, I would like to have a career where when I post my retirement, I can go to any of the students who worked with me, any of my management trainees who could be in different positions in different hotels. I come back and say, hey, look, I'm in this city. Can I come to you? And that's the time that if you have been only a manager, they will say, hi, sir, I'm slightly occupied. Is it okay? Can I see you that point of time? But if they connect with you as a human, as a leader, they will tell you, I will make it where you are. I'm going to come and pick you up. So you have, that's the difference between always a manager and a leader. Manager is just a designation, you know. Manager is sort of it comes to you as a hierarchy. Like it comes to you because your client, your customer wants to meet the manager. That's what the manager is required. Otherwise, the role of a leader is always there. You know, a leader is the one who drives a business. A leader who is the one who puts vision and mission into place, into reality. So manager manages a particular things, but a leader who always working towards a vision. You know exactly that, okay, I need to achieve, this is how I'll work, these are the ethics that I need to follow. So a leader works on ethics, leader works on behavior, leader works on mentorship. So please look at that's the difference between a manager and manager is limited with only responsibility. Leader is beyond responsibility. Leader is a mentor. You know, and who's your mentor is that you can reach out to anybody. Today I was listening to a video of my favorite Simon Sinek, and he was telling that, you know, the description of mentorship. You know, a mentorship is all about connecting. Mentorship is something that you can be reachable any point of time. A manager may not be reachable always, but a leader and a mentor can be always reachable. You know, you call for me, I may be whatever busy, but I'll still have one small message for you. Can I call you back by tomorrow? You are reaching out. So that connect happens only with a mentor and leader. It doesn't always happen with manager. So that's the difference. A good manager can always become a good leader, you know, and generally a good leader first give a priority for leadership than manage. Yeah, feathers. So coming back to feathers, look, for me, I do not like to talk about my hotel because that becomes too much personal. So I always let my my people who work with me to talk about. That's why whenever I go for campus, I take seniors who are from the college. So they are the one, because you know what, they are the one who can tell you what we do. Feathers is a very unique standalone hotel company. We have 4 hotels in India, especially in South India, not everywhere else. We have 2 hotels in Bangalore and 2 hotels in Chennai. We started in the mid-market, the economy brand in Chennai with Sarovar Hotels, and then move up to and building our 5-star hotel in Feathers today. We are on the 4th year, and we have got a lot of young leaders joining us from IIHM and different other colleges, but we are largely from IIHM. Simple reason was, you know, we wanted to see these young guys taking responsibility. So the way, there's one simple thing that I tell you, that giving an example of a front office, let's say. In Feathers, in front office, there is nothing called front office associates. It's all about executives. So we always recruit management trainees to run the front office, and we teach them. And when you teach them, there is a mentor. So you will always find a senior from the industry who is guiding you. You know, what are the job responsibilities and all. And we want them to become masters in 1.5 years. And during this time, we let you take decisions. So it's hardly my entire hotel is literally managed by these young people, you know. So a good amount of responsibility comes to them. We are a hotel which have been in the TripAdvisor in the year 2017 for about 1.5 years. We made a record in Chennai that we've been #1 hotel for 1.5 years. No other hotel could break that achievement. And we cater to it's a corporate hotel. We cater to typically a business traveler, a lot of foreigners who stay with us a long time, 1 year, 1.5 years, a lot of expat movements. And it's also got 2 top airlines from the world called the Emirates and Etihad who stay with us. The crew stay with us. We also have just before a country has gone on a lockdown, we have also sort of acquired the first flight coming to Chennai from Ethiopian Airlines. We got that also, and we have also been shortlisted by the British Airways. So you can imagine the kind of standard we maintain. All these people who picks Feathers today purely based off the audit they do. There is no recommendation happens. There is a different individual auditor who come from different country, who come and do a mystery audit in the hotel and then come back and inform them to the hotel that I've been doing an audit for British Airways. You've been shortlisted. So, you know, so you can imagine the kind of operation that we run. Probably when we see each other, I'll be able to more talk about Feathers as a presentation of the hotel. So today I can tell you that much.
That's lovely. Rupam, there's a very important question again, and this would be, in fact, the final question of the evening.
Sure.
And Sanket Hazra, he's basically wanting to know what are the qualities that a training manager, in fact, looking for in a management trainee. So, in fact, the perspective of becoming a MT, maybe potentially, the qualities that one looks for.
Right, management trainee. I'll tell you from the way we look at. Let you first understand that hotel management is not always giving you a management training. It doesn't. It can give their best effort to prepare you as a professional. Now, your personality is something that you need to work on. Remember, every 5-star hotel, when they look at recruiting a management trainee, the first thing they look at is that, are you able to communicate what you want to say? Are you able to understand? So people, you have to, as a management trainee, you have a 1.5 year time to get adapted to the new scenario. How good you are, grasping those things faster. So how do you reach out to? So the communication plays a huge role, and maturity. Do you have that person? I will not say, yes, of course it's a personality. I'll also say that, are you sort of an aggressive boy by nature? You should be aggressive in your achieving goal, right? But then that will not show in your attitude. That will not show in your, that you're in a hurry. You're in a hurry to do everything. You have 100 questions in 5 minutes. That is not. You calm. You're absolutely poised. So that composed feel we want to, because tomorrow, if at all you need to be leading a team after 1.5 years, people have to generate some sort of liking for you. People have to generate some sort of respect automatically from you, that this man has actually learned a lot of things. This man is actually can teach us so many things. So you have to also become a good trainer. As I said, my new management trainees are always trained by the previous management trainee who just become an assistant manager. So you also have to display a character that he can be a good trainer. So we look at that line. So a management trainee is that, who has got that maturity to run. It's not just about knowledge. Knowledge can only give you an entry, but then eventually what happens is how good you are in your, how good you place your point, how good you convey your message, how good you carry your body languages. Those are the qualities that we look at in a management training.
Thank you very much, Rupam. I think that was a great insight. Once again,
Thanks,
you keep us motivated all the time, and whatever you say basically always makes so much of wonderful, great difference to all our lives. Thank you very much today, and I'm very, very certain that all our students of IHM has really had a great session with you, and all of their doubts and definitely whatever they would like to question you, at the beginning, at the onset of the
Sanchari, you can
share
my mail ID with them. They can always put questions to me. They can WhatsApp to me. I can always respond to them on every micro questions they may have. I would love to do that. Not at all a problem.
That is so lovely, and thank you so much for this, Rupam. Please stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you.
And we shall be connecting back again very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time. Thank you. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much, students, for this wonderful time. And definitely thank you so much for watching us. Have a great evening ahead.